This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Calm AF. I am your host, Kristen Finch. Happy November. The Calm AF Life program will be open for enrollment soon, like within the next few weeks, right around Thanksgiving. So make sure that you are on the interest list if this is something that you want to join after, we've done all the remodels and we're ready to get going again. So that link is in the show notes. So what I wanted to talk about today, and I kind of feel like a broken record saying this because I feel like every couple weeks I say it again, but I'm going to say it again. Life feels excruciatingly hard right now for lots of people, for so many people. I swear, everyone I talk to, everywhere I look, it feels like people are going through a lot. And yes, the world is contributing to it. But I honestly can't remember the last time that I talked to someone who was like, yeah, life's going pretty smooth right now. I mean, we got the minor bumps in the road, but I can't remember the last time I had that kind of a conversation. Feels like everyone is like, minor bumps? No. Oh my God. Potholes. Giant potholes. I am trying to maneuver around every day and I don't know where they're coming from and I don't know where they are. Or not even potholes. What are those when the earth opens up and like swallows your car? Is that called a sinkhole? By the way, sinkholes, that's like a new fear unlocked for me. Like I can just be sitting there in traffic and the earth can open and swallow my car with me in it. But sinkholes, potholes, whatever they're called, that feels like the level of intensity that we're at right now. It's not the bumps we wish. We wish for the bumps. This feels like potholes. And you might think that this is like an occupational hazard for me because of the work that I do. People come to me when something is not going well in their life. But again, I swear the level of intensity of heaviness is at an all-time high. At least I've been doing this for like 10 years. Or, and this is something that I've been thinking a lot about, maybe it just feels that way because that's what I'm looking for, right? Maybe it's not heavier than normal. Maybe it's just that that's what I'm looking for. Because if I'm being totally honest, the last few years have felt to me like potholes or sinkholes, especially the last 6 months. They have just felt like, I get down and, I drop in a pothole and I finally get myself back out and then I fall in another one. I have been finding myself feeling more overwhelmed and exhausted than usual. And because of that, and because I'm seeing that everywhere, I'm asking myself why. Is it because things are actually harder right now? Like, are we in this like universal, this collective heaviness, all of us? Like not just in our own lives, but in the lives of everyone. Is there something bigger going on? It feels like there is. But because I know what I know, and because I understand brains, right? I can't just disregard that life right now might be just as hard as it's always been, right? There are always people in any given moment that are going through the hardest time of their lives. And at the exact same time, there are other people who are going through the best moment of their lives or a really flowy time of their lives. There are always people who are struggling while other people are thriving. There's always been unrest and conflict and disease and joy and celebration. There's always people being born and people dying, right? Like this, there's always both. And I'm curious if this heaviness that I'm feeling right now is because I am kind of projecting it out, and because my thoughts are, oh my God, things are hard for me. Like now I'm looking for it, like purple cars, where I talk about whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. So if now you start deciding I'm going to look for purple cars, you're going to see them all over where you never really noticed them before. I'm asking myself, is that what's happening right now? And I do think we are collectively having some sort of major transition moment. I think it's something that I'm believing right now because it makes me feel just a little bit better to think, I know from my own life that every time I've been through something major, whether it was, something really hard, getting through school or moving or having kids or losing someone that I love, every time I've been through something hard, like excruciatingly hard, I know for sure that who I am on the other side of that is different than who I was before I went into it. And what I also know for sure is that every time I come out, and I'm going to say this in air quotes, I come out better on the other side. Not because I am happy or glad or whatever that this bad thing happened, right? I don't feel like I'm a better person because somebody died or I'm a better person because someone else suffered. I just know that on the other side of this, I am more resilient. I am more capable. I am more confident in my ability to get through whatever hard time comes next. I remember having this conversation. It can go to the other side, to the extreme, where sometimes we get this like fiercely independent streak when you've been through something. And I definitely have taken it to the extreme and to a hypervigilant place, not a healthy place. But I remember having a conversation one time with Dave, and this was, towards the beginning of our relationship and maybe towards the beginning of our marriage. And I remember him saying, like, I feel like if something happened to me, you would be fine. And I remember telling him, like, I would be. Like, now, I would be devastated. Like, again, this would be something that I don't want to have to go through, something that I would never, ever want to go through. I don't want it to happen, right? But, like, what I know for sure is everything I've been through, I have come out the other side and figured out how to live in this new version of my life. It all looks different. It's not, I guess the word wouldn't be better. It's just different. And different doesn't have to be bad. That's what I've learned, right? Like that is what I've learned. So back to the reason why I am really believing that we are all maybe in this collective transition of something really, really hard happening. The reason why that brings me some comfort, some peace of mind, is because if we are believing the truth of the universe, which is everything is always changing, that means if we're going through this, there is something on the other side. And just because my experience for the last few years has been, it feels like there's no recovery time, like there's no ability to get up out of the hole and dust myself off before something else is knocking me down again. Just because that's been my experience doesn't mean that is necessarily true. It might just be this chunk of time. All of this to say, the other day I woke up and I was like, I have to shift something. I am doing my very best. I'm doing my very best self-care work, my very best self-love work, my very best nervous system regulation and emotional regulation and mindset. Like I'm doing all of the things, but it still feels like I am stuck in this get knocked over, get back up, get knocked over, get back up cycle. I want to shift out of that. I am so ready for it to be done. And what I know for sure is when you're stuck in a rut, you have to do something different. You gotta shake shit up. Shake up the energy. If you think about energy that's like caught in those tornado tubes that where you like spin them around and the liquid looks like a tornado inside. It's almost like thinking about that. You have to stop spinning the tornado tube if you want it to stop. You can't like keep spinning it and being like, why isn't it stopping? Because you're spinning it. I woke up the other morning and I was like, I'm just done with this rut. I need to stop spinning the tornado tube. I need to stop telling myself that every time something goes right, something then very quickly goes wrong. Or I guess what I've actually been telling myself is it feels like nothing's going right. I can't tell you how many times in the last few weeks I was like, I just need a win. 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 I don't need a win. Like for whatever reason, this is what life looks like. But telling myself how bad everything is has not been helpful. And I do think, I've talked a little bit about some of the struggles that we've been having here, just, some family health things over the last year and a half or so. I do think that it's easy to get caught in that spin, but also I just have to kind of like interrupt it. I have to get myself out of it. I have to do something different. So like I said, I woke up the other morning. I was like, that's it. We are done here. It doesn't matter if a million bad things happen one after the next. That might be true. That might be what happens. I don't get to control that. What I do get to control is my thoughts about it. And I need to stop telling myself that everything is so hard. It can be hard and I can have different thoughts. I can shift my thoughts. So I'm shaking shit up. And I decided, because there's no good or right time to do it, but I just decided, I'm like, you know what, November, it's a new month. And I want to really feel like the shift build momentum so that by the time we get to January, I'm like, whew, I got myself out of that. Kind of like the way I've shared the story about how I had to get saved by a lifeguard in about, honestly, like 6 inches of water when I was like 25. Story gets more and more embarrassing as I go. But what had happened is I was body surfing or bodyboarding, whatever you call it. And I was in Cape Cod, and what happened was the water knocked me down and there was some like big waves. And once I got off balance, I couldn't get my balance back. And I was struggling and then I started laughing because it was ridiculous. And also when I get nervous, I laugh. And so I'm laughing hysterically, which makes it even harder for me to like get my balance. And so finally I just kind of like surrendered. I just kind of like laid down because the waves were like pulling me out and pushing me in. I knew I wasn't in real danger, but I couldn't get up. And so finally this lifeguard literally walks over to me. Like his feet were barely covered in water. That's how deep the water was that I was stuck in. And he just reaches out his hand to like help me get up. Very embarrassing. But I like to, like, it's such a good metaphor for when it feels like life is just knocking you down again and again and again. And you're like, I need to do I need to get up, just get up, just get up. That's how I feel right now. Like I am getting knocked over by waves, but the thing that's keeping me down is my thoughts that these waves won't stop coming and they keep crashing into me and knocking me down. That's the thing that keeps knocking me down. It's not actually the waves. It's my thoughts that I am constantly having. When will I get a win? Why does everything feel so hard? Not just for me, but for everyone. I'm not sitting here in a pity party, right? It's like it feels true for everyone. But I think, this idea that I'm believing that I'm just in this place right now and everyone's in this place right now and what's going on and why are we all stuck here? And look, there's another wave that crashed into me and knocked me down. It's time to get out of that. And if you are like, maybe I've lost you because I have gone totally off my notes. I don't know. But if you are feeling the same way, if you're like, I just am tired of feeling like there's no recovery period between the waves. There's no time to get up and dust myself off when I fall in the pit. If you're feeling that way, I just want to offer this. Ask yourself, how can I shake shit up? Right? Like, how can I take this energy that feels like it's a monotonous drone, like, and again, and again, and again. How can I take that and just stop it? Like, pull the needle off the record. Pull the needle off the record. If you feel tired of the rut, if you feel tired of the monotonous wave crashing into you and not having time to pick yourself back up and dust yourself off, I want to have you ask the question, what can I do that's just different? What can I do that is just different than where I'm at right now? One of the things that popped up for me, when I do retreats, I almost always do them. I am a cozy person. Like, cozy is my vibe. It's my jam. And so when we do retreats, I'm usually like, we're heading into the mountains. We're going up higher in elevation. We're going to be in a cozy cabin and we're going to have our blankies and our coffee and all of that. And as I was thinking about my next retreat, especially with the beginning of Calm AF Life in January, I was like, you know what? This is the perfect place that I can shake something up, that I can say, like, you know what? That's how I normally do it, but we are doing things different. If you want to change your life, you can't keep doing the same things the same way. If you want to feel better, you can't keep thinking the same thoughts over and over and over. Your old thoughts can't create something new. You have to shake shit up. And so I am doing it by starting some new things, just doing new things, having new experiences. So for my next retreat, instead of going to the mountains, we are going to the beach. We're going to Mexico. That is way different than what I normally do. And I could not be more excited. This does not guarantee that now things are going to be smooth sailing for me by any means. It doesn't mean that. But it's not about that. I don't get to control the things that are happening externally. I don't have control over that. What I do have control over is how I'm thinking about it. And if my thoughts have become monotonous and draining, then I need to think new thoughts. If my, routines feel monotonous and draining, or even monotonous and just, predictable, I am going to shake shit up. I'm going to go to Mexico instead of the mountains. I'm going to, take a bike class instead of just go walk on the treadmill. Whatever it is, I am just looking forward to the rest of this year and into next year saying, I don't get any control over what's happening outside of me, but I am not going to sit in this rut for one more minute. I am going to shake things up. So that's my message for you today. That's the message. If you are feeling, and I think a lot of you are, like I said, I don't think it's just me projecting things out there because my life has felt this way. I think it really does feel this way. And maybe it's, some residue from the pandemic. Who knows? What I do know is if you are tired of the rut, if you're just tired of your same chatter in your head, if you're tired of going through the same issues and repeating the same patterns and finding yourself back where you started again and again and again, how can you shake shit up? What are some just small things you can do? What are some big things you can do? You need to remember, it's not about just changing the things you do. In order for it to be really, truly get yourself out of a rut, you have to rewire, you have to come up with some new thoughts. But we start with, how can I shake some shit up? Maybe you want to come to Mexico. maybe you definitely want to come to Mexico. I already have a handful of people that are signed up, ready to go. Make sure that you click the link in the show notes if you want to do a Calm AF. I'm calling it the Calm AF Future Fun Self Retreat because it's all about future self and manifesting and goals and joy and celebration and fun and laughter and light at the beach. We're going to shake shit up. Click the show notes, the link that says Mexico, whatever Mexico, and sign up to get information about that. That's also going to be, kind of that beginning of Calm AF Life. We're going to be re-enrolling in Calm AF Life here in the next few weeks. Click that show link, click that link in the show notes. I'm going to have to end this now. Click all the show notes, but at the end, or click all the links in the show notes. But at the end of the day, your question to move forward with is, if I feel stuck, if I am tired of repeating the pattern, if I am tired of feeling how I am feeling, maybe in my whole entire life, or maybe just in little parts of my life, what am I going to do about it? How can I shake off the dust, shake off the residue, and shake shit up, shake up this energy? I love and adore you so much. You are so worthy. The things that you feel shame, the things that you try to hide from the world because you think they make you unworthy or unlovable, please hear me. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You are so worthy. You are so lovable. You are worthy of kindness and love and respect, and that is at the very bare minimum of what you deserve. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to get approval. Anything. You just are. You're just amazing. If that's the only thing that you hear today, keep that. Let my voice be your chatter. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough. You are resilient. You can handle even the hardest things that you think you can't. I promise you can. And let's shake shit up. All right, gorgeous soul. I love you. I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. And before you go, one more thing. So as you know, I am slightly obsessed with helping as many humans tap into their calm AFness as possible. So if this podcast has helped you, would you please leave a review, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with your friends. Also, make sure you head on over to KristenFinch.com to see how you can work with me. You can sign up for my emails and get any other goodies I have available. Until next week, I love you so much. I am so grateful that you're here. I'll see you next time.